Alright guys, it's Betty2595 here, and I've got something completely different in store for you in this commentary, but it's something that I think you'll enjoy, and it's something that I find really interesting, and that is time travel, and specifically the American philosopher David Lewis's position in this paper called The Paradoxes of Time Travel of 1976, according to which we are unable to have past-changing time travel. So yeah, I'll just pause for a minute, and like I said, I've got a lot to say in this, regarding this topic, to be honest, and I'll try my best to keep it within this video, but to be honest, I can see myself not finishing, so it might be a two-parter, but I'll just have to see how we go. So yeah, if time travel is possible, it seems natural to assume that we can travel back in time and change the past and that, but according to Lewis, this view is inconsistent. Though time travel is, in and of itself, not paradoxical, certain time travel is, namely time travel that involves past changing, which is time travel in which you can alter the past. According to Lewis, the grandfather paradox doesn't show that time travel is impossible, rather it shows that it's impossible to change the past, which in other words, you can have time travel but you can't have past changing time travel. But what does it mean to say that past changing time travel is inconsistent? It's here that I feel it's worthwhile to make the distinction between a consistent time travel story and an inconsistent time travel story in order to sort of adequately understand Lewis's rationale for holding why you can't have time travel that changes the past. So an example of a consistent time travel story can be seen in the Terminator film of 1984. There are additional examples of consistent time travel stories, including the 1995 12 Monkeys film and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which I think was 1999. I can't remember. But yeah, I'll focus here on the Terminator, seeing as it's well known. So yeah, according to this film, in the future, machines take over the world and nearly destroy the human race, but the machines are eventually thwarted by human leader John Connor, and on the verge of defeat, the machines fight back by sending a machine, namely a Terminator, back to the past to kill John Connor's mother, Sarah Connor, before John is born. Now, John Connor counters by sending one of his men, Carl Reese, back to the past to protect Sarah Connor, and in the end, the Terminator nearly succeeds, but Reese stops him, and basically Reese dies, but not before impregnating Connor's mother, which is Sarah Connor, and the baby, we later learn, grows up to be John Connor himself. So if Skynet, which is the artificial intelligence system engineered by Cyberdyne Systems, failed to send the Terminator back to the past to kill Sarah Connor, they would not have come to exist in the future to begin with, but the fact that the Terminator exists in this story confirms that Skynet was successful in sending a cyborg back in time to secure their existence in the future. This story is consistent for the reason that Sarah Connor survives, basically. However, the story would contradict itself if the Terminator succeeded in killing Sarah Connor, because the story reveals that Sarah Connor lives and has a son, namely John Connor, whose future exploits are the cause of the presence of the Terminator in the past. On the other hand, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which was in 1991, and which in fact is I prefer it to the other Terminator films, but anyway, I'll not get into that. But yeah, that's an inconsistent time travel story. Again, there are other examples of inconsistent time travel stories, such as Back to the Future of 1985 and Donnie Darko 2001. But I'll stick with the Terminator theme for now. So yeah, this film follows from the first, in which a T-800 series model 101 Terminator from the future, which is played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is crushed by a hydraulic press, and Cyberdyne Systems acquire and study the cyborg's remains, which is specifically the Terminator's chip and metal arm, and learn the technology behind Skynet. And in this second film, in order to prevent Judgment Day from occurring, Cyberdyne's headquarters is destroyed, and a second T-800 series model 101 Terminator from the future, also played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is lowered into a vat of molten steel and destroyed because it can't self-terminate. However, the ending in this film suggests that Skynet is never created and that Judgment Day is avoided, and consequently, if this is the case, where then did the time travel Terminators come from? Now, similarly, Lewis rejects the idea that you can have past-changing time travel on the grounds that time travel stories which involve altering the past are inconsistent. So, for example, consider the following scenario. Imagine that you hate your life to such an extent that rather than simply committing suicide, you wish you'd never been born. As such, you decide to build a time machine to go back in time to 1950, for instance, whatever date you can think of, to be honest, but I'll just choose 1950 for now, and kill your grandfather, but yeah, before he and your grandmother had conceived you, or your mother, for instance, thus putting a stop to the chain of causation that caused yourself to come into existence. Accordingly, once you complete the construction of your time machine, you travel back in time to 1950, find your grandfather and kill him, thus fulfilling your wish. But yeah, this raises the following question: if you succeed in killing your grandfather in 1950, who is it who prevents your birth from occurring? In other words, since you, a time traveller, were born of your mother, who herself was conceived of your grandparents, if you kill your grandfather before he and your grandmother had conceived your mother, or your mother for that matter, before she and your father had conceived of you, where did you come from? Now, according to Lewis, in order for you to exist in the first place, that is, to be around to enter your time machine and travel back in time to 1950 to kill your grandfather, it cannot be the case that your grandfather dies in 1950. And this whole sort of bit of information that I've been sort of telling you now is yeah, it's seen in the following excerpt by Lewis, in which a guy called Tim is a time traveller who travels back in time to 1921 to kill his grandfather. So I'll just read you a sort of passage from his text, which is the following. So Tim cannot kill grandfather. Grandfather lives, so to kill him would be to change the past. We may be tempted to speak of the original, 1921, that lies in Tim's personal past, many years before his birth, in which her grandfather lived, and of a new, 1921, in which Tim now finds himself waiting in ambush to kill his grandfather. But the original 1921 and the new 1921 are one and the same thing. If Tim did not kill his grandfather in the original 1921, then if he does kill his grandfather in the new 1921, he must both kill and not kill his grandfather in 1921. In the one and only 1921, which is both the new and the original 1921. And yeah, it's logically impossible that Tim could change the past by killing his grandfather in 1921, so Tim cannot kill his grandfather. But I mean, there's a few sort of challenges raised against this whole Lewisian time travel thesis, and one of them, which I'll briefly mention here, is that it seems to deny that we've got free will. So according to this criticism, by complying with Lewis's notion that time travellers travelling into the past are unable to prevent their own conception, which I mean by killing their grandparents, parents, or even themselves, surely this would undermine our freedom as agents. And this is because if there is something constraining, that is, some external force or agent making it the case that it's true you will do X, then you have no choice but to do X, and consequently you're not free with respect to X. Now, in response, according to a list, there is a sense of can, in that you can travel back in time to kill people. Nevertheless, we know you don't. How do we know? Simple, because you currently exist. I mean, if you did succeed, then you wouldn't be around to tell the tale. So for Lewis, it's not the fact that you can't kill your grandfather means you don't kill your grandfather. Rather, it's that we know you don't, or we know you didn't because you're alive. There's nothing external constraining your choices, such as the laws of logic or some primitive metaphysical force preventing you from killing your grandfather. Rather, it's just that you don't do it, and we know you didn't. And moreover, in fact, we know you failed to kill your grandfather because we know your grandfather doesn't die in 1950. And with that, I think I'll end the commentary on time travel there. I mean, I don't know, I just don't want to overdo it, and I can imagine there were bits which you may wish to sort of go back and listen to again that I sort of covered fast and stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got a decent amount of the information covered. Yeah, I mean, like, if you feel like you want to pursue the topic further, then I do highly recommend it, and by all means you can contact me and I'd be happy to sort of suggest readings and that. But yeah, in the end I thought I'd bring you something different, hopefully something that you all find interesting. In fact, I'd be interested to know what you guys think of the whole topic of time travel, like not just regarding this commentary, but I don't know, it could be anything, like what your favourite time travel movie is. I mean, for me it was Back to the Future. I mean, that was a beast of a film. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you thought of this commentary and whether or not you'd like to see more of this kind of commentary for future videos. So yeah, this was Benty2595. Thanks for watching, and yeah, in a bit.